some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them.
As a result of Jimmy Kimmel being wrong in the face of information that was publicly available, he has been indefinitely pulled off the air at ABC. That brings us to something we've been looking forward to for quite a while.
Long time.
Today's Jimmy Kimmel time to close. So, cancel culture. Jimmy Kimmel. How many times have we heard, hey, it's not cancel culture, it's accountability culture, right? From the left. Now they want to gaslight you into believing that the right is pro-cancel culture. We're going to go through some then and now, some claim and truth, and a closing time on Jimmy Kimmel. But again, let me reiterate this. I want to make it as clear as possible. 1963, it's just as clear of an example as we can have in comparison to Charlie Kirk, although I know it's worse because Charlie Kirk is not a head of state, simply expressed opinions. 63, JFK, killed. If a teacher says to his students, 63, I'm glad that his brains were blown over his wife, and I hope everyone like him gets killed. Would he be fired? Of course he would. If he said, hey, students, men are biologically stronger than women, would he be fired? Of course he wouldn't. You now understand cancel culture. It's a shifting of the Overton window, and it's a new coded lexicon that they claim we use, and we don't even know what it is, with an excuse to cancel someone because of opinions you don't like. That is not the same as gleefully reveling in the death of someone who didn't deserve it and trying to socially engineer another generation of psychopaths. There you go. That's it. But for those who missed it, this is why Jimmy Kimmel got people angry, and I want to be really clear. You know what foments violence? Dishonesty. Dishonesty. Because all the misinformation out there, the dishonesty, you call someone a Nazi, you call them a fascist who can't be dealt with at the ballot box, and then when people take you at your word and kill someone based on your descriptors, and then you lie again and say, see, the violence, even against the right wing, is coming from the right wing. Guess what you do? You now justify even more violence at the right wing, who are already the target. Dishonesty is what generates violence, not righteous anger in response to the dangerous, violent dishonesty. This is what Jimmy Kimmel said. It's flat out wrong. He knew better. We knew better days before, and he has never feared accountability anyway. But now he is. Here's the clip.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them.
Okay. Still no word an apology, by the way. A lot of people have been implying, when I think that Joe Walsh, he's going to be on Piers Morgan with me. Yep. And same thing. We don't know anything. Well, we did. We gave you the motive with the bullet engravings, to be clear. And the media accused us of being dishonest, of being liars. Keep in mind, the shooter was still out there at that point in time, and so was the Kirk family. So I think the Antifa engravings and the trans furry engravings are relevant if you're on the menu. You can comment if you disagree. Also, 7-0.
Yeah.
I am no false humility here. This investigative unit is the best that's ever done it, the most consequential that's ever done it, and they've been right every single time. As a result of Jimmy Kimmel being wrong in the face of information that was publicly available, he has been indefinitely pulled off the air at ABC. That brings us to something we've been looking forward to for quite a while.
Long time.
Today's Jimmy Kimmel time to close.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. A lot of them are also just repulsive.
Time to close. Endings and beginnings are ending and beginning now.
It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go.
Jimmy Kimmel is apologizing after instances of him using the N-word and doing blackface.
What the hell going on up there?
Time to close. Endings and beginnings are ending and beginning now.
It's shocking to hear that a majority of men believe Donald Trump respects women. A vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Time to close. Endings and beginnings are ending and beginning now.
If you want to make this into a positive, you can, sorry. Okay, I'm good. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
I know that it's time for things to close. I know that it's time for things to close.
Beautiful.
The funny part is, I have a problem with none of it. The Karl Malone, the Oprah,
Right.
the grabbing lady, I don't. It's just, he's getting what he deserves. Now, this is a man who wouldn't urinate on you if you were on fire. This is a man who has no problem with the people desecrating the memorials, the memory of Charlie Kirk, because he did it himself. He did it in a soft way by blatantly lying and trying to attribute violence to the people who are the targets of violence. But I don't have a problem with any of the things he did in the past. I have a problem with the inconsistency and the dishonesty. Charlie Kirk Tribute is going to air in the place of Jimmy Kimmel's show. That's important because as much as Jaguar thinks that you want, stick shifts with trannies on the dash, this tells you that the market is responding right now. Mm-hmm. This tells you that the market realizes, oh, okay, the woke stuff doesn't work. It's not selling. That tells you there's a cultural shift in this country. And it needs to take place. And anyone who says, hey, the left will use it against you, they always have, period. They're only going to do it worse. And this is not inconsistent. I also am really bothered when people used to say when the left would do this, the Ministry of Disinformation is, well, that'll come back around. And now that this is happening, they go, hey, guys, come on, we're better than them. Well, hold on a second. You said it was going to come back around. Let it come back around. It's coming back around. Step aside. We should see this come around. President Trump posted on Truth Social. I love it. Great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled. Oh, no. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what, frankly, had to be done. We all knew it. Kimmel has zero talent, worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. It is. He did it. Wow. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on Fake News NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC, President JT.
You're fired.
Do it, NBC. Do it, NBC, President DJT. You know me. And there's been, of course, the reaction from the left, which isn't going to work, which brings us to then and now. All right, let's do now first. No time like the present. The left, of course, is having an absolute breakdown because they are the party and platform of freedom of speech. Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel, they're trying to cancel Jimmy Kimmel.
It is outrageous. It's a page right out of Xi's playbook.
Oh, now you hate
This
Xi.
is just despicable, disgusting, and against democratic values.
So they are now taking a tragedy, a real tragedy,
This guy.
and trying to turn that into suppressing your First Amendment free speech right.
You mean like murder?
I've been going through the internet looking for the clips to see what they're mad or upset about, and I can't find it.
It is just
It's next to your sex tape.
It is indicative of autocracy, and I am just outraged by it.
When you speak out and challenge their ideas, they crumble.
You shoot us.
So instead, they try to challenge your ability
You
to
shoot
even
us.
speak out. Do not be quiet. Do not.
The folks who are complaining about canceling people are canceling people. What does that tell you?
This
That
is
you're gay?
a red line that has been crossed for our industry, for the First Amendment, for the right of people to speak. There was nothing hateful about what was said.
The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, went on a far-right webcast
Completely
and condemned Kimmel and urged ABC to suspend him.
This is a very dangerous and scary moment for America.
Any straight men have an opinion on this?
Of every
Can we butch it up with some broads from The View?
Democrat or
Jizz has gone to your
Every
head.
night has a right to come into
another
any house
gay
that
one.
wants to watch.
What, he come from shop
and
class?
entertain Americans, just as Greg Gutfeld on Fox has a right
Turning down a
to
piece
be
of-
not funny and go on his network and entertain Americans.
Oh, yeah. He said it's not funny. Go bang a Chinese spy. Totally straight Stelter, actually, right now is saying that free speech advocates are alarmed. No, we're not, but let's see what the straight man has to say. Oh, my God. Of course.
That's what I'm watching for today, Wolf. Meanwhile, ABC still has more questions to answer about whether it plans to bring the show back in some form at some point.
No.
We don't even know if Kimmel would want to do that, by the way. His contract was coming due in a few months, and he had made
Did
some
Wolf
noise
Blitzer
about
look
wanting
like
to
that in
retire.
third grade?
So
Yes.
right now, in some ways, the ball
Yes,
is
he
in
did.
Kimmel's court, but there are some very serious
Hasn't
questions
changed.
for all Americans about how the government is jawboning, pressuring media companies
Enough
into
about you
changing
and your off
coverage and
time.
content.
Do we have any idea, Brian, when
we can
Jimmy
get
Kimmel will
Kruller's-
actually make a statement, release a written statement, or make a public statement?
Nowhere, Wolf.
No, we have no indication yet from his camp about that. He was about to tape the episode last night when he was yanked off the air. And we know that that decision was directly a result of big station owners complaining to ABC. In other words, those station
The free
owners
market.
like Nexstar
Yeah, they don't
and
bring that
Sinclair,
up.
Yeah.
they heard
Don't bring the
SNL
money
These are the
in.
same people, by the way, who bitched about Sinclair, saying that local programming is gone. And so local programming that had more conservative viewing audiences said, you know what, we don't want this. This isn't serving our community. Now they're anti-local broadcasting. Let's continue to listen to super straight Brian Stelter.
Now, for all we know, those executives at local stations might have had their own concerns before Carr spoke out. But because this government official was so explicit in his threat,
Don't you just
that
love how
changed
they
the entire
we
scenario
literally have
for ABC
prepared
and
their
for the
claim
station
of government. I'm going to get
I
to
think
that in a
it's really
second. They
important,
can't
Wolf,
help
to note, these
themselves.
station owners,
It's the same
like
playbook
Nexstar and
always.
Sinclair, they have pending
Sinclair.
business for the government. They have deals that they need the Trump administration to bless and approve. So there was a lot of money on the line, and there is
Yes,
a lot of
yes.
money on the line
Got
for
it.
these station
That's enough.
owners.
Yes,
That is partly why
the party
this
of the
is a-
fairness doctrine.
open and
The party of the fairness doctrine, right? Because they couldn't handle only having ABC, NBC, CBS, CNBC, MSNBC. They decided to require that AM radio, a dead medium, which Rush Limbaugh decided to try his hand at since he was successful, you had to provide equal time.
Yeah.
And when their shows all failed, then they just demanded that, of course, people on the right be taken off and something or other. Hate speech. I know, enter Pam Bondi. She's an idiot. So this is what they do. They try and act as though, this is dangerous, a dangerous precedent, government. All right, let me walk you through this. We just saw now. Let's go back to then, right? Cancel everybody for new reasons that never would have been cancelable only a week ago.
That's right. Fox News has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means.
Regulation in terms of what's allowed on air and what isn't. And when you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very, very clearly incitement of violence.
He's already on a plane to Moscow to meet with his manager. But what a shock. I mean, what an absolutely delightful shock this is.
Here's what it doesn't say. That private, non-governmental organizations are required to host your speech on their platforms or promote all of your content. No private entity is obliged to help you get your message out.
Alex Jones. He is the founder of InfoWars, and he is now feeling the heat himself. YouTube, Facebook, and Apple all announcing they're removing his content from their platform.
No government pressure there.
Facebook, Apple, and YouTube were well within their rights to boot Jones from their platforms.
ABC decided to cancel their highest-rated show, Roseanne, following a tweet in which Roseanne compared an African-American woman, a former advisor to President Obama, to an ape, which did not sit well with ABC management or anyone with a brain, really.
We're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment.
Don't say rein.
So that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but
Sure.
it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false.
We truly are living in a zero-tolerance world right now. These networks really don't want to be involved with anyone who can be perceived as controversial by any viewer. So even if you go on air and you make an apology, sometimes that's just not enough these days.
Deplatforming works, and it is important. And there you go.
Yeah. So let me also, I just gave you the analogy of JFK. Let me give you another one. They said that people should be removed for misinformation. Okay. Jimmy Kimmel, because people were upset enough after a horrible act of terrorism where an innocent man was assassinated in plain view in front of his family. Okay. People were upset enough about the gleeful celebration thereafter. And while that was happening, Jimmy Kimmel lying. He had access to correct information and chose to spew the lie that the shooter was MAGA right wing, which, by the way, would foment more violence against the right wing because, hey, you already called us fascist. Okay, that's why a private company, ABC, is deciding that maybe they're going to suspend him indefinitely. We were suspended, removed, for quoting the CDC amidst a pandemic. That children were more at risk of the flu. Again, at the behest of government, and you've seen that from the Twitter files and YouTube Meta, right? Conversations that Susan Wojcicki gave herself. To be clear, I welcome Jimmy Kimmel to compete. I'll see you on the playing field. If he were to say this in a podcast, of course he shouldn't be removed from a digital platform if in fact it's a platform. He won't be able to compete because he sucks. So he was removed for that, misinformation, which foments violence. We were removed for the truth because the government said you should. Brian Stelter, this is so funny, reached out to the... Oh, gee. I'm interrupted by my own bit. So he reached out to the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, and this is, he said, I asked FCC chairman if he had any new comment now that ABC has been pulled. Jimmy, he sent me this GIF. It's a GIF of the wow. And then Keith Olbermann posted this. He said, "Burn in hell, Sinclair, alongside Charlie Kirk."
Oh, wow.
All right.
Class act.
And hey, I'm not saying that Keith Olbermann should be removed from wherever he posted that. It's accountability culture. Now, if Keith Olbermann still had a show on a network, they would be well within their rights to remove him. Do you guys see the difference? This isn't really hard. Don't be tripped up by the left saying, you're just like them. Let me show you how we're not just like them. We have removed this show from YouTube. We stream exclusively to Rumble. Diageo, the world's most powerful advertising firm and conglomerate therein, told Rumble that unless they remove our stream, they won't allow any ads on Rumble. And not for anything illegal, not for inciting violence, but for opinions they don't like. The left cheers it. Always. By the way, best way to stay in touch and stick it to big tech, download the Rumble app, follow me there. It's free, it's better than YouTube, and more people are downloading it than YouTube in the App Store for the first time. How's that for a win? So the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, did discuss this decision yesterday before the announcement from ABC. I think we have a clip.
One thing that we're trying to do is to empower those local stations to serve their own communities. And the public interest means you can't be running a narrow partisan circus and still meeting your public interest obligations. It means you can't be engaging in a pattern of news distortion. You see some lashing out from people like Kimmel, who are frankly talentless and are looking for ways to get attention. But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
Yeah, and just to be clear, it was verifiably false information that would justify more violence against the right wing, saying the shooter was one of ours. It's untrue, it's proactively dishonest, and that leads to violence. I'm not saying that you're responsible for all the violence. I think the decade or so of fascist Nazi, and then saying that the person who killed based on that kind of rhetoric was one of ours. I think it's past the point of being irresponsible.
Yeah. And I think ABC really took the out here, by the way. They were already losing millions and millions and millions.
His ratings were down 80%.
His ratings were down massively.
In the demo since 2015.
I've seen tens of millions as estimates for how much they were losing on him every year. And when Sinclair and the other one, what was the other one I can't remember the name of the other one. Nexstar. There we go. Nexstar was pulling him off the air. It's like, now the losses were going to get bigger. They're like, yep, we're done. Yeah. This is easy. We don't have to lose this much money every year. Yeah. Fantastic.
Even WorldStar dropped him.
Yeah, exactly. But enough about the View.
That's true. But that's the point. It's not just this one single incident with Kimmel. It's been before Trump showed up, year after year, week after week, decade after decade of dehumanizing the right.
Yeah.
It's an aggregate. This is not an isolated event.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what they don't. I was arguing with a comedian friend of. Anyways.
Yeah, they do the thing like, aren't you scared they'll come for you? It's like, they've come for us always.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, I said to him, I was on the phone with the FBI 4 years ago.
I know. I remember.
Before I went to my gig, and
Yeah.
And they're like, well, this guy said this about me on X.
Right.
I said, well.
Yeah. I mean, for crying out loud, we literally have a show that it was removed from what are supposed to be open platforms. And never for being wrong. That's not why. We quoted the CDC. That's one of them. We had Carrie Lake on before an election. That's one of them. You think it's happenstance that the world's biggest election stream was suspended for 2-year-old made-up violations by the next election within the week of the election? You think that's happenstance? And they still haven't given a valid reason.
They don't have to.
They don't have to. And I hope that doesn't happen to Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah. But as far as ABC, deserves to be fired. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the live daily show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.